those two things of like them interrupting you and then them not responding to your questions will kind of like create another problem where you'll ask a question and you'll pause to give them like room to answer and they'll just sit there. So you'll try to like elaborate, because like in a normal conversation, you ask a person a question and if they just sit there, well, it means they don't know what you're talking about, right? So you elaborate, or maybe you repeat something you've said, or maybe you bring in some new information for clarification, something along those lines. But here it's like you ask a question and they just sit there, and then you're like, so is that something you offer? Or, and like, as you're speaking, they will start interrupting you. And then as soon as you stop speaking, they'll stop and they'll be like, no, what were you going to say? What were you saying? I'm like, I'm still just trying to get you to answer the original question. I mean, I never said that, but like, God. Like looking on, like ask a question like, hi, I was looking for shelter in the Springfield area. I don't know if that's something you guys offer, or, and it's like, as soon as you get to the part where it's like, you're like, I don't know if, and then they're like, well, you need to call, what were you saying? It's like, oh my god. But if you pause, if you're like, okay, they just need a second to think, if you ask them a question and you just give them a second to think, then they're going to be like super condescending. They're not going to say, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean, or um you said X, Y, and Z. I've never heard of that before, or could you elaborate on that maybe? None of that like normal stuff. It's just like they'll immediately get offended. It's kind of like talking to a 13-year-old who has no social skills, and so you ask them like a question and they don't know the answer. And this has happened to me like in DoorDash, and like not just talking to these specific people today, but like just talking to people here in general. Like you'll ask a question and they'll just sit there, so you think, okay, well, I'll just give them time to answer, and then they'll just kind of be like, it's like, use your words, like what the fuck. The employees in the restaurants are so rude. Like they'll just do little things. Like I ordered Taco Bell yesterday. Went inside, ordered, and they call my name. I go up to the counter. My coffee's not there. And I'm like, and the person who called my name is like already disappeared. There's nobody within sight, so I'm just like, pretty sure I ordered a coffee. And so I'm like, kind of looking. There's no receipt or anything, and like I typically have them email me the receipt, but I didn't do it that time for whatever reason. And I'm pretty sure I ordered a coffee. I was looking, I'm like, this is my order. So I'm standing there. A worker starts coming out, and so I'm like trying to make eye contact with them and be like, oh, excuse me, my order came with the coffee and I didn't get it. Just ignores me. 3 or 4 people come through, all just ignoring me. I even get to the point where I'm over there going like, raising my hand and being like, uh excuse me, and they're just like, every time they make eye contact and then walk away. I'm like, okay. And so I'm standing there, I'm like, well, I mean, what can I do? Like, I can walk away and then call and try to get a refund, but they'll probably tell me I need to get a refund in the store, and nobody's helping me at all. Like, nobody's giving me a refund, nobody's giving me a coffee. Like, I've been standing at this counter for at least 5 minutes at this point. And finally the girl comes around the corner with it made, and I was like, oh, thanks. And she's like, yeah, sorry about that wait. I'm like, it's okay. It's just when you called my name, I thought the whole order was ready. So, like, to kind of clarify, like, when you call someone's name, make sure the whole order is ready. Don't, like, call their name and only half of it's ready, and you still have to spend 5-10 minutes making the rest. I didn't say all that part, but I was just nice about it. She did not like that. She, like, rolled her eyes, puff, shifting her weight and shit. I'm just like, okay. Very tacky. Could be a little more tasteful when someone is being polite and helping you you know? And I get it. I've worked customer service my whole career, and sometimes you just have a bad day. Sometimes you just have a bad attitude with the customer for no reason. They don't even deserve it. But they're like that here consistently. Every time, every restaurant, every person. Bad attitudes. And that was something they said on Reddit. A lot of times people, they'll project how they feel about themselves onto other people, especially if they don't really have a full understanding of who that person is. If they have just a template of a person and then they can fill in the rest with their ideas, people tend to like those people more. Like if you're a person and they know too much about you, they might not like you, but if they don't know enough about you, they can make up these fantasies in their head, and then they like those fantasies, so they like you. But a lot of times people will project in that empty space of the unknown how they feel about themselves. And somebody on Reddit was saying something about like, my problem isn't that I'm homeless, my problem is my attitude. And ever since I've gotten here, like, I've just been saying over and over and thinking like all the time, these people have a fucking attitude problem. They really do. I don't know if I can eat all this guacamole before I have to leave. Which time are we at now? Let's see what time it is. I should probably leave here in a minute. I wanted to eat it all, but I'll throw up if I do. I want to lick it. Give me a lick it. I'm gonna lick it. I feel like I'm gonna vomit. I was gonna vomit earlier, but I didn't have any food in my stomach, thankfully. Ugh. I don't know. It's the stress. It's the food is good. The food is like delicious. I'm saying ugh because of the stress. So yeah, I guess I might check out the shelter and see if they'll help me. Hopefully my car doesn't get towed in the time I'm gone. Especially since I have to be there in the middle of the day. Like I can't just ditch the car after these guys close. I have to like leave it in the middle of the day. Like, I don't know. The security guard has already told me like 3 times I'm not allowed to be here anyways. Not today, but like in the past. He's told me, you can't park overnight here, you can't loiter here. Get a life, bro. Nobody here has a life, and that's why they're so concerned about me and what I'm doing. Because I'm way more interesting than they'll ever be. I'm gonna let it ruin. I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna chuck it in the fuck it bucket and say fuck it. I could take it with me. I'll take it with me. I'll be that guy. I'll be trashy as fuck. I don't care. They can judge me. Anyways. I also have my Monster I need to drink because I opened it already. I don't think I can carry it on my bike. But that would probably be fine. Like if I just leave it overnight and then come back in the morning for it, it'd probably be fine. I'm so scared they're gonna tow my car. So if they tow my car, it's like, okay, Walmart tows the car. Then what? Is Capital One responsible for getting it out? Because they want it anyways, they want to repo it. Or do I then have to fork over $100 or $250 or however much it is to get it out? And what about my stuff? Like I have a bunch of stuff that's like I don't want to throw it away, but I can't carry it just like on a bike to the shelter, you know? So I don't know. Maybe going to the shelter is going to be a really big mistake. But I can't really stay here because I can't get the bike to fit in my car. So I don't want to leave it outside while I'm asleep, obviously. I could go back in and buy tools and take the tire off, but like I said, when I looked, I didn't see any tools. I didn't really look thoroughly because I figured I don't need them. Um, I guess I'll go to the shelter because there is that possibility that they'll reject me. So I'll go to the shelter and see if they'll even let me in. If they let me in, then yeah, I have to do all that. But I should probably go ahead and go if I'm gonna go, which means I need my helmet. And I wanted to get my medicine before I leave. You know what? It's not raining. It doesn't matter. At first I was thinking I could put all my important stuff in my backpack and bring it with me, but it's not that important. There's just like, here it is. The monostat, because I haven't been doing it every single day. Like, I just kind of do it every now and then I forget about it, and then it starts acting up again, and so I do it again, and then I'm supposed to do it for 7 days straight, and it would go away, but I'm an idiot, so I've had this for like 3 weeks now. I tried to get STD tested, but I don't know if you saw that whole saga. Nowhere would test me for some reason. I even went to the health department and they tested me, but they did not test me for everything. So I could still have herpes, or something along those lines, or it might just be a yeast infection. Who knows? Because they wouldn't tell me. You would think a yeast infection would be easy enough to diagnose, but I think they're just jerks. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. Hopefully I'll get a helmet cam at some point so you guys can see that whole perspective with the bike and everything going on. For now, I'm probably not going to be vlogging too much on the bike just because with the helmet cam, I could have a mic inside the helmet and I could speak probably at a low volume without really drawing much attention to myself. But without the helmet cam, it would be hard to hear through the thing. And if I were to speak that loud, it might draw attention to myself. So we'll see. I considered getting a phone holder for my bike. We'll see if I end up needing one of those for like my deliveries and stuff. But I don't know, you know. I'm not even sure what all I'm going to need to bring to this place because, like, it's a shelter for homeless people. But for all I know, I'm going to show up and they're going to say, "Can you prove your residency in this state?" I'm homeless. What the fuck? Who knows what's going to happen. I did find one food pantry that said they would give me food no matter what. And it was a trans girl. And I think she's also the one who pulled some strings for me to get into this shelter. But it might have been somebody else because I talked to so many people. And they were like, so-and-so said. And I don't remember what her name was. Because, like I said, I talked to so many people. I think her name was like Susan or something. But I could be wrong. It might be a completely different name. I don't know. I'm stalling. Ah! The last person I talked to about the shelter, they think I'm a trans woman, and they kept calling me she, her, and ma'am. So I don't know how this is going to go down, if they're going to be like, "Oh no, since you have a deep voice and you identify as male, you would have to go to the men's section. You can't stay on the women's side." You know, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm biologically female. The only reason you separate the men and women is to prevent rape. So why would you put me in with the men knowing that I am in a group of people who are vulnerable for being hate crimed and raped? Like, what? Especially in this city. Especially by the type of people who would be seeking a shelter. I'm just saying, there's a lot of bums around here. There's a lot of hate crime around here. There's a lot of extremists around here. There's a lot of tattoos and signs and flags and hate speech and just looks and all of it. You know? I'm not really trying to die, you know. But yeah, I'll stop stalling now. I gotta go. Peace out.